Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Coffee Conversation, the Emerging Lawyer, part by the Emerging India Forum, TIFF, Lions Club of Mumbai Shining, India Business Group, IBG, Indian Chamber of International Business, ICIB, and Prime Infotech Solution. I am Jolly Singh, Associate with Prime Infotech Solution, and today we are going to talk on the topic from engineer to lawyer, utilizing intellectual property to promote innovation with Pragya Arora. Today, we have with us Pragya Arora, who has achieved great milestones at a very young age. She is an IITian from IIT Kharagpur, engineer turned lawyer and entrepreneur, and now founder of PA Legal, an intellectual property law firm in India. Our today's session has been divided into three segments: professional, personal, and we end this conversation with a very fun rapid fire round. So let's get started with today's conversation. A very warm welcome, Pragya ma'am. How are you? And my first question to you would be that as a founder of PA Legal, what inspired you to establish an intellectual property law firm, especially focused on software, electrical, electronics, telecommunications, and robotics?
Hi, Jolly. Hello, viewers. I'm delighted to be a part of this conversation and diving directly to the question Jolly asked. Jolly, so being an engineer and a lawyer, I was always motivated towards the field of intellectual property. And that's why I started my firm, PA Legal, which is the short form of Pragya Arora. So I did engineering in the field of electrical, and because I was too much into technology, I love technology, and technology and I cannot be apart much. So I loved applying law and technology also when I became lawyer. So after having a work experience in this field, I thought of starting my own firm, and that is why I situated PA Legal. And the idea behind this was, innovators, it becomes very difficult for them to understand law and think about how they can reap benefits from their innovation. So if they first discover right intellectual property, then protect it in the right manner, and then monetize it, they are able to get a lot of commercial benefits from their IP and their innovations. So that was the idea in our mind when we started PA Legal, and it's growing at a rapid rate since then.
Excellent. So, ma'am, in today's globalized society, protecting intellectual property is very essential. We, as a lawyer, understand the importance, but not the general common people. So, how do you give clients strategic guidance for ensuring the protection of their intellectual property rights worldwide?
Yeah. So, Jolly, what in present scenario, the means of doing business have changed drastically. Like the manner in which business was happening 10-15 years ago, it's completely different, especially in the digital era. And because it's digital era, people have easy access to knowledge, easy access to things which are happening globally. And that's why it's very, very important to protect the intellectual property. If you do not protect it, there is a lot of tendency that people lose their rights, and then copying at a massive scale happen. So if you do not have a right strategy in place from the very beginning, the chances of losing your rights are very much there. And in order to protect that, we suggest that filing IP is important. And it always starts with discovering right kind of intellectual property, because there are so many types of intellectual property. And sometimes, at a very initial stage, people don't know what kind of IP they need protection on. So it always starts with what is the right kind of IP and how it needs to be protected. There might be chances that people have certain kinds of IP which protection might not be required in terms of registration. Still, they have valid rights for them. But we need to understand it from business to business point of perspective, and taking into account what is their business strategy. Based on that only we can give them right intellectual property strategy.
Absolutely. How do you successfully bridge the gap between the technical and legal components while working on intellectual property and patent protection strategies? Given your background is both engineering and lawyer, so you understand the intricacies of both the professions very well. So, how do you bridge the
Yeah.
gap?
So it's because I am an engineer and lawyer, I'm able to bridge the gap. And the reason here is, sometimes people think that, okay, let's get this work done from a general lawyer who does not understand technology, and it becomes very difficult. For example, any startup, any technology based company, and patent protection is always there on technology. Patents are not given on anything else. All literary, artistic, dramatic work is under copyright. All brand building things are there under trademark. So patents are specifically for technology. If you do not have technology, you cannot get a patent. So whenever we need to apply for a patent, even for a lawyer as well, or the patent agent who is applying a patent on your behalf, he or she needs to understand the technology very well. If they are able to understand the technology very well, then only they'll be able to apply correct law and write the application in the correct manner. If they do not understand the technology, they'll not be able to prepare the right documents. And if that is not done, you will lose the protection again. So it's always recommended to have a law, a attorney or a patent agent who understands your need, who understands what your technology is, what are the key elements that need protection on, and then drafting needs to be taken care of. So drafting is a second step. First step is understanding of the technology, and then only law can be applied on it.
Absolutely. Uh, can you share any relevant experience or example of a very difficult case that you have come across, or a client issue that you have managed, and you had come up with a very novel legal solutions and tailored them to your company, to the company's unique goods and services? Because as you mentioned that understanding, when we are talking about the patent, understanding the technology is something very important even for a lawyer who is filing and everything. So how have you ever come across such a case where you have performed?
So yeah, Jolly, I'll give you certain examples because it's very difficult to go into details of the technology world and explain you things. But to begin with, there are certain things on which we cannot get a patent. For example, business idea. Now I'll give you an example of business idea. So there is Ola, there is Uber, there are various cab booking services, but nobody has a patent on a cab booking service. And the evidence of this is, if Ola had a patent, Uber could not have been there because patent rights give you monopoly. If Uber had a patent, Ola could not have been there because people enjoy monopoly when they have a patent. Now, there are a lot of people who want patents on their apps. And we always suggest that because it is a business method and it is not a technology, we cannot get a patent. And I always give this example of Ola and Uber, or Flipkart, Amazon, eBay, or Zomato or Swiggy, because government wants to promote competition in the market as well. So they'll not give you a patent. Now, still, these companies have a lot of patents with them for their portfolio, for their technology, which people cannot copy. So, for example, if if a company XYZ develops a technology which is, they are giving you the nearest location of the rider near you. So that process of getting the location of the nearest rider could be a could involve a number of technological steps. For example, taking a lot of information, then processing that information, then collecting GPS coordinates, then processing the GPS coordinates, integration of various data together, and then they are able to find out who is the nearest rider near me. So probably this is not a business method. This is a technological part of their big app. So always technological part of your apps can get a patent. And for that also, we need to understand what are the several component, what is the technology that you have developed that your competitors are not using, that is not currently existing in the world. So in similar lines, we have been able to get a lot of software patents in the area of AR VR technology, in the area of GPS technology. And why? Because we try to focus on the technology and not the business method while protecting the patent. And always the IP strategy has to be in line with the business strategy. It cannot be two different things. They had to be in line with each other. So just to give you an example, on this line, we try to ideate, we try to work with the inventors, and we try to find a right strategy and right things on which patent protection should be there.
So, ma'am, you demonstrate your dedication to teaching people by holding intellectual property awareness workshops, lectures, and seminars. Can you share a memorable event or a piece of feedback that attendees really appreciated or gave you at any point of time from one of these engagements and interactions that you have had in the past?
So there are multiple examples I'm able to connect with. Where, sometimes we don't know who is sitting in the audience, and because I create a lot of social media content as well, through that I am able to connect with so many people. People watch videos, they watch my podcast, they attend some workshop, and they always reach out. Even I remember a person, an eminent person from the film industry reaching out because he developed a special kind of musical instrument. So he wanted a patent on that, and that was very, I did not expect a person from a music industry would be there, because music is a subject matter of copyright, while his product was a example of a patent where we could file a patent, and then the patent was granted to him.
Okay, ma'am. What are some of the significant challenges you have faced in your career and how you have overcome it? Because turning from engineer to a full-time lawyer and establishing your own law firm and everything has never, I'm sure, never come easy to you. So what you have faced and how exactly you have done that?
So Jolly, I think the rest of the journey was fine because I did engineering, then I completed my law. I was working with a well-reputed law firm. I was earning well, but still I wanted to start my own law firm. And I think the biggest challenge for me was leaving my job and starting my firm, because when you are on the employee side, you are earning well. You think you're leading a comfortable life, and why should you start your own business? But then you think, no, you have an aspiration which you want to try on, and then there is a dilemma in your mind. And then when you choose to start your own firm, you get to know that you don't know how to do accounts, you don't know how to do people management, you don't know how to speak to clients, because you were always drafting and always on the back end of a law firm where you were handling documents or handling major part of operations of the work. So I think different aspects of business was a bigger challenge, learning about them. And then slowly I started learning about accounts, learning about people management, learning about various stuff, and I'm still learning. And I think that was the challenge which I had to overcome, because that is a part of starting your own business when you start from scratch.
What advice would you give to the aspiring entrepreneurs and businesswomen based on your journey?
So, because you kept the word aspiring entrepreneurs, so people who are not entrepreneurs yet and are aspiring entrepreneurs, my first advice is just stop everything and start. Start something that matters, start something that matters to the world, and start something that matters to you. That is the most important step वो बोलते हैं ना कि स्विमिंग पूल में छलांग लगाओगे तो स्विमिंग ऑटोमेटिकली सीख जाओगे. So when you start your business, you'll automatically learn. You'll make a lot of mistakes, and that is okay. So you'll make a lot of mistakes. You will then implement your learnings, and then you'll fly. You'll just fly. So the most important advice is just start something that matters to you and that matters to the world. And to women in general, I think the world is beautiful. There are a lot of people who come to your support, and there is a lot of support available in the industry as a whole. So don't fear. I think women, they have something in some inbuilt fear that they don't want to break that glass and take a step forward. Just take a step forward without any fear. It's okay to make mistakes, and yeah, just start with your journey.
That was it for the professional rounds. And let's get to our second round, which is personal question rounds. And my very first question that I have been very excited to ask you from the moment we have started this conversation is, why being a lawyer after passing out from such a reputed university as an engineer? Because engineers become everything, but choosing the law as a career after doing engineering is something which is not very peculiar. So why?
So yeah, so when I completed my engineering, I'll give you a short story, and that is the real story behind me choosing law. So when I completed my engineering, I was still figuring out what to do next, because I didn't want to enter into PSUs and government jobs. That I was very clear. I wanted to do something of my own, but I did not know what to do. So I was just figuring out that what do I want to do from my life. So my father had a case where technology and law was involved, and his matter was going on in Delhi High Court. So I was just accompanying him, and I asked him, because for him it was becoming very difficult to explain things to his lawyers, because they were not people from a scientific background, and they could not understand intricate things of construction and electricity and things like that. So I asked my father that why don't engineers do law? For engineers, it is so simple to understand, and it's very difficult to make lawyers understand these things because they don't know the basics. So he said, why don't you do it? So I said, okay, I can try. And the same day I got to know, and the same day I was using Google to search for opportunities, that what happens when like the combination of engineering and law. And I found this course of IIT Kharagpur. It is a course specific for people who are from scientific background, and they give their honors degree in intellectual property. And that was and then I applied. I got through. I got a good college, and yeah, and here I am today.
I like we are very glad that you are here today, because it is surely very aspiring. As I said, that it is not something which everybody to chooses. My second question would be that how do you keep yourself motivated and grounded? You have achieved so much in life at such a young age, and you are just moving forward with your career and achieving milestones. How do you keep yourself grounded?
So I think it's very easy when you have something in mind कि बस रास्ते पे चलते चले जाना है. So that is always in my mind. So I generally don't keep long-term goals and short-term goals as well. But I read a very interesting book called Atomic Habits, where they say don't focus on goals, but focus on building systems and building habits. And when you do something consistently, it comes into your habit, and it becomes your identity. So I think, and recently I have learned that success is also a kind of habit. So I think we should start focusing on how to achieve it. So I think when those identity related things, you're chasing them, then a lot of success comes to you. But yeah, if you ask me about making short term goals, long term goals, it's very difficult for me. But yeah, I make them, then I forget them, and then I focus on how to achieve and what to do next.
My next question would be that how your college life has been. Like you have the opportunity to live the college life as an engineer also and the lawyer also. So what was the difference? Any difference that you observed? How, like, is there any difference or not? How was it for you? How
So
was the
for me,
transition?
for me, it was very different. So as I had attended two colleges. One was the engineering college, one was the law college, and transitioning from an engineer to a lawyer was completely drastic changes. For example, in engineering, research meant sitting in a scientific laboratory doing experiments on certain instruments or machines. And in law, research meant sitting on computer or reading books and reading things. So in my initial days of college, I was like, oh my God, was this called research? Because engineers are used to do researches in their scientific laboratories, doing experiments or doing something on the machines and things like that. And in law, we do not have law laboratories, but we have moot courts and no things like that. So a lot of transition there. And in terms of writing answers, like engineers are used to do calculations on their calculator, solving problems and writing answers, while in law we have to understand different kind of real world problems and give a solution which is legally correct. So yeah, a lot of transition in terms of how these two worlds operate. Yeah, so I think there was a lot of differences.
Who has been your biggest supporter and cheerleader throughout the journey you have had till now?
I think my parents, like I remember when I left my job, I called up and asked them that I'm leaving my job. Is it okay? Like if 6 months down the line I'm not able to earn anything, can I come back and live at home? So my parents were like, that is your home as well. You can come here and live anytime. Why are you even asking this question? And they just supported me every time I took a decision. But yeah, that opportunity never came, because we were able to do well in our business as well. So but yeah, just to feel secure, I asked this to my thing to my parents, and they have been supporting ever since, and they have never said me no for anything. They're like, okay, you want to take this decision in life, this is your decision. You want to do law, you pursue law. After doing engineering, you want to quit your job and start your own business, you can do that. So I think they have been my biggest supporters.
What is one thing you did as a kid, but now no one knows, and like now you want to? Would you?
One thing I did, I played a lot of games. A lot of games. I used to be on my computer 24/7. I did a lot of coding. Like I said, engineering is in my heart. I think from early school days, only computers were my best friends. And I have done a lot of coding during that time, and people don't know about it because I am a lawyer at the end. So they don't know that I have done so much in that world as well. But yeah, after that, when I switched to law, very less of technological work I have done. I've done work with technology people, but by myself, I've done nothing in the domain of technology. But I have played a lot of video games and a lot of games in my childhood.
So, are you loving the transition that you have had? Do you
Yeah,
have any pets that you could not? This is something that I could not do, but if I am given the chance again, I would definitely do that. Is there something?
I think I meet a lot of wonderful people in the area of technology, and probably sometime I want to have a startup of my own, which a kind something related to law and technology, maybe a legal tech startup. I'm not too sure as of now, but yeah, I have a few ideas in my mind, and probably sometime I'll also start with them. So that is one of the things in my mind that I want to do. But yeah, let's see.
Um, if you were to give our audience one piece of advice, what would that be?
So, I think a lot of time what we do is we keep thinking about doing action and we never take them. We keep thinking कि ये कर लेते तो ये हो जाता, ये कर लेते तो ये हो जाता. So I will say just be in action. Don't think about making mistakes. Don't think about that whether you want to do it or not. Just try 100 times, because one of the things I have learned from my mentor: try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, and one day you'll succeed. So you have to be in action. You can't keep thinking about stuff and you know uh, and regret it later that I never started this or I never took action on this. So I'll suggest whatever comes to your mind, take action. Failing is all right, but you'll not regret that you have not taken action on it.
Absolutely. That was it for the professional rounds as well, ma'am. So we have come to the end of our conversation, and we have one last round with us, which is rapid fire round. It is a fun round where we like let our guests choose between two, or we ask questions, and you have to be like very quick and answer with the very first thought, the very first word that comes to your mind when you hear that particular question. So, are you ready?
Yes, yes.
So, let's get started. So, what is your favorite book,
Atomic Habits.
as you mentioned?
Yeah.
One word to describe yourself.
Action taker.
Favorite movie of yours?
Favorite movie? Dil Chahta Hai.
Movie person or a series person?
Movie person.
One skill you would want to master in future?
Communication.
What is like one thing on your bucket list which you would like, which is your dream to make sure that it comes true?
Travel around the world.
One most used app on your phone?
Most used app. Oh my God, I don't WhatsApp. Throughout the day, every client, everything, WhatsApp and Gmail, email.
One app which you have used the least?
Use the least Snapchat. I I always download it and I never open it.
And last but not the least, one app that you hate, like you absolutely hate and you don't understand the point of that.
One app. Oh my God, I don't know. I can't think of any app. Sorry, I can't think of any app as one
Are
app
you
that
enjoying Threads? Are you enjoying Threads, that the new app that has come? Are you enjoying?
So probably the answer could be Threads, because I did not join it yet. And I was
Yeah.
thinking there is already Instagram, there is already Twitter, and just because some fights going on in the world, they have given me one extra app, and all the digital marketers around the world are now, okay, have got a new business to pitch for. So you all should be on Threads. So yeah, still now I haven't joined Threads. Maybe in the future I will, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, because it's all hyped up. It is like really hyped up. So the reviews are very mixed. Not every people is liking. So that is why I just thought of giving a hint. Are you the person who's not liking Threads?
The thing is, I haven't joined, so I can't give any comments on it, because as you said that one app for what you think that why it is there. So I thought Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter are just too much to handle. So I don't know one more social media app, will it be useful or not?
Absolutely. That was it for our today's conversation, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving your precious time. And I'm very sure that our audience is very much aspired with your journey and is very intrigued to know a lot more about you. And we would make sure that you are on our show again in the future. Thank you so much for giving your valuable time. We are very obliged. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Jolly. Thank you for audience for listening. It was wonderful to be on this show.